Y'all know what it is. Anytime you see the lady singing and a slow beat bringing, it's Big Vern in the booth doing his thinging. We had a great show lined up for you today. Then it took a nosedive. It took a nosedive. We talked about the delusional WNBA. Not only the players, but also the fans, and we broke down why. You're scheduled to lose $40 million this year, and now you're talking about pay us what you owe us. Yeah, find out what we think about that. Then we talked some big problems in Big D, Michael Parsons, and his agent. They start talking to the media about the situations going on behind closed doors. Find out what we think about that. And then the last segment, we talked about rapper Cash Out being sentenced to life in prison along with 70 years. 70 years. We got rape, we got sex trafficking, we got prostitution rings. Yeah, not only did he get time, his mama got time, and his cousin them got time. Wow. So, from that, got another one that is pretty much going to dive in the dumpster of there's a lot of sexual abuse that's actually on this show. I don't really care for these kind of shows, but we got to talk about it. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it right after we come back from a quick 20. It's your boy, Big Vern. Give me a beat. It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Studio. We pushing a new album this month. The Clips, Pusha T, and Malice. Let God sort them out. In stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorite on the track is Chains and Whips with Kendrick Lamar, POV with Tyler the Creator, So Be It, Inglorious Bastards with Ab Lever, So Far Ahead with Pharrell Williams, Let God Sort Them Out. Chandeliers with Nas is probably one of the wildest tracks. I mean, just from the way the transition and the beats pick up, and Nas is always gonna bring the rhymes. I'm like, wow, the AR in the Saints' mouth? Come on, bro. Again, we actively listen to hip hop around here. And by the grace of God, that one's heavy too. Clips, Let God Sort Them Out. Pusha T and Malice in stores now. Yeah, shout out to the Clips, Pusha T and Malice. We thought it was dope. I like that one with Kendrick Lamar in it. That was crazy. That was crazy. So without further ado, let's not delay this. Vince could be feeling the heat. Former chairman of the WWE, WWF, he could be feeling the heat because John Laurinaitis, a former World Wrestling Entertainment executive, has reached a settlement with a former WWE employee who accused him of sexual assault, and he has agreed to provide evidence. He flipped, he's a rat, he's a stoolie, in her ongoing lawsuit against the embattled former WWE CEO, Mr. Vince McMahon. So if you've been living under a rock and you're not privy to what's going on, Vince McMahon was accused of sex trafficking a former employee by the name of Miss Janelle Grant. I'll spare you a lot of the gory details, and there's some stuff that is chaotic and just destructive that was going on in there, including not only the things that went on in the corporate office inside Connecticut at WWE headquarters, but also what was done to this woman on a regular basis. That was just horrendous. And like I said, we got a flip-flopper. The U.S. District Court in Connecticut showed a motion by attorneys for Grant and Laurinaitis to dismiss Laurinaitis from the lawsuit against Vince. So She had him in there as well because she claimed on many occasions that he had also raped her, and there was a time where this went on inside the WWE headquarters in Connecticut, allegedly. There's also the time where Vince McMahon allegedly had defecated on this woman in some sort of menage a trois with an unknown, unnamed man. And then he went to take a shower and, get himself clean, but he didn't allow her to get clean. And then it never said if the unnamed individual in this menage a trois even stopped. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never been so excited to be with somebody. There's actual feces around me, and I'm still all about it. Yeah, this is crazy. Now, Grant, she filed the suit against McMahon and the WWE in January of 2024 last year. She accused the former CEO of sexual assault, trafficking, and physical abuse. Grant alleges that Mr. McMahon promised a job and subsequent promotions at WWE in exchange for sex, in addition to trafficking her to other men inside and outside of the company. Yeah, again, the fact that this went on for so long, and he was able to keep a lot of these women quiet with NDAs, because people who do this, they don't just decide to do this one time. There has to be a history. There has to be a pattern of one person doing this. And I'm not sitting here saying Vince is guilty of anything, just like I'm not saying Janelle Grant is lying about everything she's talking about. Those are just absolute statements. I'm just giving you what's going on currently, because a lot of people are scared to talk about this for some odd reason. And what I'm giving you is a sanitized version of what went on. And again, repeatedly, I'm sparing you the gory details. In that same year, he was accused of doing this to Janelle Grant. He stepped down from his chairman spot at TKO, WWE's parent company, following Grant's allegations of sexual assault, trafficking. McMahon has denied all of these allegations, as he should. As he should. Doesn't take a guy to sit up here and say, hey, look, I didn't do that. That's not him actually having some brilliant legal strategy. That's just what anybody would say if they were accused of doing this. And that's true. But is there a there? You know, like I just talked about not too long ago in a distant sentence, we talked about, is there a there? Because there has to be a pattern of established behavior. We'll go ahead and dig into that when we come back from a quick 20. It's your boy, Big Vern. Give me a beat. Dun, 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 dun. Hold the presses. Y'all know what we do. We got another R&B album we pushing this month. Come As You Are, Terrence Martin and Kenyon Dixon, in stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the track is Body and Soul. That's a really dope song. Tyrese a good song too. That's a good one. Follow Me, that's grown man music right there. Well, Ogie, you sitting back with your first lady sipping on something. It's quiet. You just want that, that togetherness. That's one of them ones. A Circle of Love with Robert Glasper. I really dug the album, but these four stood out to me. Make sure y'all give these boys some love. Come As You Are, Terrence Martin and Kenyon Dixon, in stores now. Yeah, shout out to Terrence Martin and Kenyon Dixon. I really dug the album. That Follow Me, that's a beast. You could possibly be hearing that in a lot of weddings coming up. So make sure you all get them boys some love. So when we last left off on the other side of the content, I was asking you, hey, look, nobody just up and does something like this. There has to be a pattern established that this person has done this before. Is this a one-off? Because if it's a one-off, then you kind of like look at it with a side eye. But if the breadcrumbs actually matter and then they link up, hey, a duck is a duck. In 2022, McMahon had stepped down as CEO of WWE, and the following year he paid a multi-million-dollar lawsuit to Rita Chatterton, a former employee and referee who accused McMahon of raping her in 1986. Whoa. Okay, well, that's just one. There can't be another case. Or can they? Or is there another case? Yeah, it can't be another case. Or is it just another case out there? Yeah. Well, another woman at a tanning salon, an employee in Florida, accused McMahon of sexual harassment by groping her in 2006. The Wall Street Journal reported in 2022, McMahon paid $12 million to 4 women to silence allegations of sexual misconduct and infidelity. This guy was making payments out the entire time he's been in the WWE. The entire time he's run amok in this company, and he's left a lot of women's lives in ruin. Now, allegedly, he's done this, but he's paid out multiple millions to keep people quiet about a lot of sexual depravity he was involved in. Allegedly. Again, the settlement talks, they don't make these things available to the public because in order for there to be a settlement, there has to be details that certain people agree to, and the courts actually block that. But we've established that there is a history of paying women for alleged sexual bad behavior. And sometimes you just have to go ahead and put your face in your hand and rub your head and say, I don't know why this isn't getting talked about. We talk about the puffies. We talk about all of these. Now we're talking about Epstein and what's going on. And here it is. You've got a guy who's walking around right now who's actually richer because when he stepped down, he actually cashed out and took a big payout to do this from TKO Holdings. And he stepped down from a company he started and his father started, and he ran for years. And nobody wants to talk about this. Okay. McMahon agreed to pay $400,000 in civil penalties and reimburse the WWE for $1.3 to settle Securities and Exchange Commission charges related to undisclosed payments made in connection with settlement agreements to 2 former female employees. So him on his books were putting down numbers that didn't square up or they couldn't account for, and that's what got him in hot water with the Federal Exchange Commission. So he had to pay that fine of $400,000, which Vince sleeps on a bed of money at this point. And then he had to reimburse a company he started for $1.3 million, which again, it's no sweat off his ass. He made money stepping down from TKO Holdings. He's a rich dude. Trust me, he's not worried about that kind of stuff. And so if you see his wife is now in the Trump administration, people were thinking, oh, Trump can go ahead and issue Vince a pardon because they know each other. Trump can go ahead and issue Vince a pardon, but one thing, he can only pardon you from federal crimes. This isn't a federal crime. This is a state crime in the Central District of Connecticut. So yeah, that's not gonna fly. The attorneys for Vince, they made things more chaotic when they said Janelle Grant's request came too late and was made for the wrong reasons, as opposed to what would be the right reasons. Yeah, this may have happened to her, but hey, it's way too late to pay her. Dude, you're the scum of the earth. You're the scum of the earth if your defense for your client is that, yeah, her trauma, her being sexually violated, she waited too long to say anything, and yeah, we can't pay. What? That's actually the most brazen thing I've ever heard. And we've been covering everybody's depravity and all of the craziness that's around guys from Fat Joe all the way down to Vince. And this is the first time I've heard any attorney go on the record and say Janelle Grant's request came way too late and was made for the wrong reasons. What? You think she wanted to have all of this out in the public record? You think she wanted to relive the nightmare of her being trafficked and her being raped? You think any woman wants to go ahead and have this out? And those are the wrong reasons. What are the right reasons? Exactly. What are the right reasons? If you are a father, you're seething at this. If you have a sister, you're seething at this. If you have moms and aunts, you have to be beyond appalled that someone would say she came forward because she didn't have all of the right reasons in place. You had guys out there talking like Roman Reigns, and he was like, it's embarrassing for her to go ahead and, relive this thing over and over and over. I question why Roman Reigns would actually put himself in the crosshairs of the WWE, since Vince has worked closely with his family for decades. And he is pretty much in a generation of people. You find out that Roman Reigns is just going to let his contract expire. He's not going to go ahead and go forward trying to get into wrestling for another year, another contract because of his health. And he's looking for that Hollywood parachute. Doesn't make him bad, but he has no skin in the game, which he's not principled enough to come out and say, hey, look, I don't agree with this guy has done. I'm going to be on the roster for years and years and years after. If he came out and said that, then that would have had a little bit more substance, a little bit more weight. But when you find out he's leaving, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you're criticizing people on the way out. I would just rather not say anything, and then I could actually come out and release everything like I said, I'm no longer with the company. I can go ahead and say what I want and that kind of thing, because I don't think these things go far enough. However, you got a big problem because Laurinaitis was in on a lot of this stuff. And if he's cooperating with authorities in Connecticut, there's no telling what there's no telling what they know. And there is a telling of what Vince knows. And Vince knows this is bad. There's no pardons. There's no way to get out of this. There's nothing on the table. The only thing that's left at this point is justice. You promised this girl you were going to go ahead and pay the millions. You stopped after you gave her $1 million, or you stopped after you went ahead and gave her some money. But then you started contacting her again, and you try to go ahead and make her sleep with wrestlers so they can sign with the company. And you wanted to show, quote unquote, a good time, allegedly. Yeah, this is bad. But dun. Well, that's the show. Thank you all for joining us. We had a great time. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe button and share the content. This is Big Vern, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.